What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and I just finished up watching Kubrat Pulev versus Jerry Forrest, and this was a 10-rounder in the heavyweight division, and this fight was Saturday, May 14th, from the Forum in Inglewood, California, and this fight was broadcasted on Fight TV, and in this fight, Kubrat Pulev was able to get a dominant unanimous decision victory over Jerry Forrest, so I personally scored this bout 98-92 in favor of Pulev. I did agree with one judge who also scored at 98-92, and the other two judges scored at 99-91, respectively. So, Kubrat Pulev really dictated the pace in this fight, and just to really just break it down real quick, the only rounds that were super close were like the first 3 rounds. Those were rounds where Forrest looked on his game. He was landing some shots of his own, but the first 2 rounds I did give to Pulev, because he landed some nice shots and was sort of being the dictator of the pace. Round 1 could have went to Forrest, because Forrest was going to the body, bit off the ropes, but I gave it to Pulev based off of he was really just pressing the action of the fight and landing some shots of his own. Second round was more of a clear Pulev round, landing some nice right hands. But then in round 3, Jerry Forrest actually landed a perfectly placed left hand on the chin of Pulev that sort of backed him up and buckled him a bit. But then from rounds 4 all the way up until literally like round 8, Kubrat Pulev dominated Jerry Forrest. Forrest was really just getting wobbled, and he just looked very tired, sluggish, and just much more unmotivated compared to his last couple fights. For example, in round 4, he got hit with a massive straight right to the chin that made him sort of stand there like a robot when he got hit. And then he was getting hit again and again and again. I mean, he was really just getting dominated in these rounds. Really, he was not landing many punches in those rounds. And the same thing happened in round 5 where he got hit again, flush on the chin, and sort of just stood there like a robot, like froze like a deer in headlights. Like he was really getting sort of hurt and buzzed by these shots of Pulev. Same thing happened in round 7. I mean, he was really just getting hit a lot from rounds 4 to round 8, and the referee actually almost stopped the fight in round 8. Pulev was sort of on the ropes trying to hammer Forrest to the body and to the head. I saw the referee almost step in to stop it up until Forrest landed a jab to sort of keep Pulev off him. That was how close this fight was to getting stopped. But then in round 9, I gave Forrest that round after rounds of domination for Pulev. Forrest, I gave him the 9th round because he was able to sort of land some actually decent shots on Pulev and seemed like he was a bit more motivated. And towards the end of that round, he was landing some big shots on Pulev and was able to sort of back Pulev up a bit. But then around 10, towards the beginning, Jerry Forrest, he seemed much more motivated than any other round of the fight. He landed a big overhand, I believe it was an overhand left to the sort of temple area of Pulev. Pulev got backed up a bit, but I think it was really because he was off balance. But otherwise, throughout that round, Pulev controlled it and landed some nice right hands, which is why I gave him that round as well. But in that round, Jerry Forrest was really trying to fight, but he was really throwing and missing a lot of arm punches because he looked freakishly tired compared to his other fights, specifically when he fought Zhilei Zhang, Jermaine Franklin, Carlos Takam, and even Michael Hunter. He looked much different than those fights, and I mean, he really just got out controlled and just outworked. So with that being said, what is next for Kubrat Pulev? He's 41 years old, but this was actually a very good and very solid comeback victory since his loss in the actual boxing ring to Anthony Joshua. I know he had that bout against Frank Mir, but I mean that wasn't really a big boxing match. I mean this was a real sanctioned boxing match. So he got a solid win here. And Jerry Forrest is not a pushover, so this was actually a very good win, as I mentioned before. So I think, being that now Kubrat Pulev is with Triller and is fighting on their cards, I think that in his next fight, we could see actually a very good top 15, top 10 heavyweight showdown between him and Michael Hunter. I think that is most likely next for Kubrat Pulev, a showdown between Michael Hunter on a Triller card as the main event. But as for Jerry Forrest losing here, I believe for the 5th time, Jerry Forrest has really not lost to anyone who's really that bad of a heavyweight. I mean, he's lost to Hunter. He's had a draw with Hunter. I mean, he's had a draw with Zhang. He lost to Jermaine Franklin, even though he should have won. I mean, he's only lost to Takam, Pulev. I mean, all these very solid fighters. Gerald Washington. I mean, he really hasn't lost to anyone like outside the top 25 at the time that he fought them. So, I mean, props to him for fighting all these tough heavyweights. But I think in his next fight, he's going to get another tough heavyweight. I mean, in his past maybe 5 fights, I mean, he's fought real tough contenders, and I mean he's really been sort of competitive with them or just gave him a decent fight like this one, even in his other couple fights. So I think in his next fight he'll face another established contender in the heavyweight division, where he might get a draw, he might lose, or might get an upset win. So overall, Kubrat Pulev defeats Jerry Forrest by unanimous decision to get a solid win at the age of 41. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.